Apple events are fun, full of life. But if the tech they share isn't fun and full of life too, then what's the point? My initial reaction to the WWDC 2024 event was excitement, but the more I thought about it, the more I talked to my friends about it, the more I realized it was missing that factor. I really liked a lot of things they announced at the event, but I had a lot of problems too. Apple gatekeeps a lot of features Android has had for years, but they always do it a little better. They do it the Apple way. That is until now. Let me explain. Before I get into that, I'm probably going to keep looking over here because this is super unfiltered. I mean, I just wrote all these points down. I have class tomorrow, I have work tomorrow. I just wanted to share this today, and if I spend a lot of time getting this right, I won't get a lot of time to edit, and it's already 10:30 and I gotta go to sleep soon. So let me just start. First things first, let me just give credit where credit is due. I'm going to be negative enough in a second, but let's talk about the things Apple did do right so I don't feel like a complete jerk. I absolutely loved some features a little because they seemed fun, but mostly because they seem like something I would really use. Siri finally seemed useful and it was about time. Whenever my grandma asked about what all the hype about AI is, I could only tell her how an example of AI is Siri on her phone, and that made her think that the world is going nuts over AI for no reason because Siri at best seems like a gimmick to her. Siri will finally have personal context and can access things phone-wide, so that is a win for virtual assistants. AI stuff for the most part was pretty decent too. I can see how a lot of that could be useful, especially since I can connect my ChatGPT Plus account. I do have some problems in the area though. I'll talk about them a little later. Moving on though. Calculator for iPad would have been on the list of problems too, but surprisingly it's not. I'll explain. My theory is that they just delayed it so much that they thought they have to do something big when they eventually do release it so that they can prove to the world it wasn't just them being stubborn, which for the record I think they were being. Anyway, after so much waiting, it's finally here, and that extra math note feature on top, it isn't half bad. Like, I can see myself writing neat little equations and marking all parts of a physics diagram with the right variable names and the right values, and just let the add do the last little bit, and I'll totally believe it because AI doesn't hallucinate. I won't have to double check the math, I guess. In all seriousness though, it is something innovative and with time will probably even become quite useful. So it is saved from my list of disappointments. For now at least. Gaming stuff also sounds pretty decent. I mean, I'm still just gonna play on my PlayStation. It sounds good, I guess. Also, the auto cleanup for handwritten notes. Love that. Honestly, my handwriting goes down the toilet 10 minutes into any lecture, so that would actually be quite useful. All the other note-taking features, like they were all great. Like being able to scribble stuff out, auto, everything. Great all around. Although one thing I was truly psyched about was the real developer stuff. Being a computing science major, the amount of toolkits they've released is very, very exciting. Apple has some of the best documentations worldwide for how to use their APIs. So you can start messing around even if you know very little programming. It opens up a lot of possibilities for new and exciting projects. Speaking of which, it does make me want to do a video about, a project to do with these toolkits soon, hopefully. Stay tuned for that, I guess. I'm moving on now to the bad stuff, I guess. Everything boiled down to one thing. Apple did do the right things, but it just feels they are playing catch up now. Usually I don't feel so strongly about such things, and trust me, given that I study and work with people in the tech industry, I understand innovation takes time, but Apple took so much time to barely match what is already out there. The unsaid promise of doing this the Apple way, or simply doing them better, is what we would expect. Delay your features, Apple, by all means, but in exchange, We, the users, expect that you do more than what is already out there. Let me back it up with some specific examples and features. iOS redesign was a joke because it barely is one. Letting us arrange apps, changing their looks, they are great quality of life updates, but they're so minor, they could have just been introduced in the next iteration of iOS 17 instead of one of the headlining features in iOS 18. But no, Apple has to make us think it is a very big thing. And then more of the same for iOS. Control Center has expanded thing going, great UI, and trust me, I know how easy it is to mess UI up, but it's still very minor. Probably no one's going to use it anyway. Hiding apps, that is something Android has been doing for years now. Sending delayed messages, old news yet again. In iPadOS, like I said before, the calculator app, that's good, it's alright, but being able to control other people's devices, it's standard stuff. No new things there, so there was absolutely no reason to delay it so much. macOS lets you mirror your iPhones, that's kinda new, but I've been able to do that with my phone and watch for a while. I can mirror my watch screen onto my iPhone screen and use it like I would directly, like through the buttons and everything. It can be quite useful on a Mac, I agree, but they're not breaking new ground. So again, I feel quite underwhelmed. Tiles positioning of apps, just snapping them onto one side or whatever. Windows has been doing that forever. I've been doing that through third-party apps forever. Like, I can probably do it now. Yeah, you see that? It snapped. Yeah. I mean, thank you for including it, I suppose, but I've been able to do that for a while. Checking up on how you're looking before video calls. Apps like that have been around for so long. It's been there forever. So passwords are stored in an app instead of settings now. Revolutionary stuff. Like, whoa. I surprisingly can't say anything bad about watchOS though. Everything there seems like it wasn't just a ploy to catch up with other companies out there. Still didn't get group competitions, but that's a separate topic, I suppose. And yeah, I couldn't care less about Vision OS because I can afford one, so all that stuff was lost on me. And Apple themselves couldn't care less about tvOS because it didn't even get its own dedicated chapter on YouTube. It is under audio and home. If Apple didn't care, I don't care. And if nobody cares, it probably didn't get any worthy updates anyway. I just said all of that to seem cool. I mean, the Vision OS stuff is true. I'm too broke to get one. Although, it's coming to Canada next month, so I'll go to a store and give it a try, I guess. But tvOS, I do have something to say. I do have a gripe. Insight on Apple TV Plus. Prime has been doing that exact thing for years. You can look up the actors, their info, bios, whatever, movies they've been in, popular work. You can look up the song playing in the background. It is neat that you can add it directly into Apple Music from your TV Plus app. I'll give Apple that. But now that I think of it, it's not really even an OS feature, it's more of an app feature. So I guess Apple really didn't care about tvOS after all. So let's move on. There was a lot of Apple intelligence stuff. Apple is smart. They wanted to do things their own way. So AI apparently has a new full form now. I'm just going to say AI. You can assume I'm saying artificial intelligence or Apple intelligence. It's the same thing more or less. All that AI stuff was about 40% of the event. Everything that they did was great. Don't get me wrong. It just really seems like it's all to play catch up. Apple has been lagging in the AI race, and this was the first time they're at a true disadvantage. They have never stored our data and still refuse to. I applaud them for that. But the fact of the matter is they've not been able to make an AI model of their own, and everyone else has been improving theirs for months now. Removing things from background in photos, finding a driver license number from some corner of your phone, all great features. It has existed in other phones in some way for a while now, but there I won't bash on Apple. They were at a disadvantage because they do truly care about our privacy. That is their bottom line, and I'm glad they've stuck to it. Given that, everything else they've announced seems so delayed that the AI delay just seems like another source of annoyance at this point. I'm a true Apple user. I'm reading from my Mac. I'm recording with my iPhone. I wear my Apple Watch basically 24/7. But I don't think defending Apple or being blindly loyal to any company does any of us any good. So be mindful and actually recognize things for what they are. like being able to snap apps now and everything, that's all great. But it was not a truly, like, to say it again, it wasn't an event. Like, event. Yeah. That was better. So this was my 2 cents, I suppose. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. PS out. I'm gonna go brush my teeth.